Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Norwich Talk for the first video in quite some time. We're back from a very random hiatus. I don't know why. But we're here to preview the Liverpool game straight up. There will not be a stream tomorrow because I won't be watching the game. I might see if Sam will make a video, but we'll be doing some sort of more reaction and digesting the game during the week as opposed to tomorrow after the game. Nevertheless, we shall be doing a preview anyway because it's been a very interesting period for Norwich City, a fairly positive one, unless you were watching the second half of the Manchester City game, which was bleak, depressing, boring, very routine for Manchester City, not enjoyable at all for anyone by the looks of it, not even the Manchester City players themselves. But we play Liverpool, so great way to bounce back from that game. Off the bat, I don't think anyone's expecting anything. That's fine. We're not going to talk about free hits. No one cares about that. We'll talk about the 11 and the ways Norwich City could get something from the game. And I think we'll call it a day there because let's just try and be positive. It's been nice being positive, hasn't it? You know, you look at the 3 wins in a row. It's nice having that positive feeling back. You've only got to go back a month or two to some of the videos, especially post Palace, where my God, we were angry, frustrated, depressed to an extent at the state of Norwich City and the way things were going. That's changed. There's a bit more belief. The outcome could still be the same, but we talk about not going down with a whimper. That looks like that could happen in terms of going down without a whimper, if you will. But starting with the goalkeeper, as usual. What else would we start with? Angus Gunn. I think Angus Gunn has looked very impressive recently. In my head, I compare him to when he came here on loan, and he really wasn't very vocal. He didn't command his box at all compared to the Manchester City game, where I'm not sure at times they were paying attention to him, but he was barking orders, made some fantastic saves, saved the penalty, of course, but it was just unlucky that it fell back to Sterling, who completed his hat-trick and then just didn't care, because that's the state that Manchester City are in. Hat-tricks and winning 4-0 means nothing anymore, which is just hilarious. But Angus Gunn I've been really impressed with. I was a little bit hesitant when Krul got injured, but as far as what we've seen so far from Gunn, I'm happy with him in goal. Really good shot stopper, and really becoming that sort of commanding presence. Along the back line, Max Aarons, Grant Hanley, Ben Gibson, Brandon Williams. As far as a back four go, in recent history for Norwich City, they've been pretty good. Norwich have never been good at defending, have they? That's just not a thing that Norwich are good at any point ever, especially in my lifetime. But in that back four, you've got a pretty good blend of everything. I think Hanley is really good at winning his headers. I think Gibson's pretty good. I think defensively they're pretty okay, which, given the other choices for Norwich City, bar Big Andy, Kabak, Zimmerman, I think that's as good as it's going to get for Norwich. Max Aarons, very good on the front foot, needs to work on his defending. Against Man City, gave, who is it, Sterling, way too much space out wide. Now, I know it's difficult to defend against Manchester City because they literally had a player on either side of the pitch at every time. Really stretched the game, but you look at, I think it's the first goal, maybe the second as well, where the game has just been stretched beyond Aarons, and he didn't seem to learn from it, which hopefully Dino will correct within his game. I don't think Liverpool really play in the same way, but if they do, I would be worried. Brandon Williams has really gone up in my estimations. Does that make sense? He's really gone up in terms of his value to Norwich City, in my opinion. On the front foot, he's improved so much. You look at the Everton assist, I think that was kind of a landmark in terms of, look, if you're going to get the ball, be brave with it, and make a clever pass, and he's doing that. I think he's doing that really well. Defensively, yeah, he gets caught out at times, but I mean, in the context of Norwich City, who doesn't? And he brings that real naughty word house factor to Norwich City, which we were absolutely crying out for, and you can tell that he cares. And do you know what? That's enough for me, to be perfectly honest with you. The midfield three I've gone for is Matthias Norman, Pierre Malou, and Kenny McLean. Now, I think dropping Gilmore may be a little bit harsh. Norwich did look overrun against Man City with him there, but it's Manchester City. It's kind of harsh to pick out an individual, but they looked overrun. The whole team did. But I've gone for this purely because I think Les Malou, McLean, and Norman is the perfect combination of sort of, for Norwich City anyway, of technique and physicality. Now, I'd love to have had maybe Sorensen in there for McLean, but I don't believe he's available. This is going to be a real egg on the face moment of years. I haven't actually looked at the press conference notes, which I shouldn't say, but here we are. But I've gone for Norman. When he's come off the bench, he's not done much, but I think it's just going to be a case of just get him back in and involved, because I don't think he's the sort of player who's really going to impact the game off the bench. He's the type of guy that you notice over the 75, 80, 85 minutes that he does play, a bit of a slow burn. Les Malou's looked a hell of a lot better recently, hasn't he? He's looked like a Premier League footballer. We described him as a player who's meant to be just pretty decent at everything, but when you're not being decent at everything, you're a bit like, well, what on earth are you? Thankfully, in the past few weeks, he has been. You know, the passing's been really good. The thing that comes to my mind is the cross for Grant Hanley against Manchester City. There is that technique there. Kenny McLean, workhorse, wins his headers. I think that's going to be important in a game away from home. Sometimes a bit clumsy on the ball, but yeah, Sorensen's injured, basically. Now, on the front three, I've gone for Josh Sargent, Milot Rashica, and Teemu Pukki, of which I'm happy with that as a front three. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not the most menacing, is it? If you're a Premier League defender, I don't think you're losing sleep over playing against these three. But what did I say earlier? In the context of Norwich City, I'm satisfied with these as a front three. Teemu Pukki is going to have to really step it up, because Adam Eder is now likely to be out for the season. That's one thing I did see. Milot Rashica is really starting to sort of up his levels, but we need goals, we need assists, because we need a bit more of a return, is what I'll say, actually, rather than goals and assists, because it's not all about those numbers, is it? We just need more of a return. But he's really good at just getting his head down, running at defenders. That's what we knew he could do, and he's doing it a lot more, which I genuinely believe I think he's a goal away in the Premier League. That is, he's a goal away from just being like, right, I can really kick on here. And we said the same about the other man in the front three, Josh Sargent. He got his 2 goals against Watford. Unfortunately, became ill, I think it was, which is just unlucky timing. It's like for Adam Eder, it's just really annoying and unlucky. So you have to feel, as a human, you have to feel just kind of sorry for them. But Sargent, workhorse, again, wins his headers, has proven he can score. So in my head, you know, definite starter. I remember the days of having Todd Cantwell in that position. Rest in peace to those days. But as far as the 11 goes, I'm happy with that. I'm satisfied, which I didn't expect to be saying ahead of Liverpool away. I imagine a month or two ago, I said to myself that I'd have been feeling all right ahead of Liverpool away. Then I would have thought I was crazy because of the state we were in. But yeah, I think that's going to be a very interesting one. Now, I mentioned we'll talk about how Norwich could get something from this game. I think it's quite clear. I think it's a mixture of Norman finding Teemu Pukki. That's the first point. And Milot Rashica is going to have to carry the attack, because I think when someone like Rashica was brought in, the idea for Daniel Farke's philosophy was counter-attacking football, wasn't it? That's well known. That's been well discussed. Away from home against Liverpool, it's going to have to be counter-attacking. Liverpool are very intense, and I know they play in a similar way where you have to be very efficient on the ball. Norwich have proven in spells, I think of the Palace game especially in the first 30 minutes, maybe Manchester City as well actually, for the first 30 minutes, where there was the combinations where it was the ball was at the back, but within 2 or 3 passes we were on the front foot having an attack. Norwich are going to have to do that against Liverpool, and I think they will. And I think the forefront of that is going to be Milot Rashica, and Teemu Pukki is going to have to be clever with his movement. Sargent is going to have to be ready at the back post for a header, which we've seen once before. Hopefully we can see again. Matthias Norman is going to need to find his sharpness in terms of that Hollywood ball to get us out of danger from time to time. We know he loves it. He's not particularly consistent with it, but if he can get a bit more consistent with it, it's going to be a very effective and useful tool. Les Malou, McLean, they're going to have to be the workhorses. They're going to have to sort of provide that energy around Matthias Norman, because he clearly likes to move, but one, he's sort of on his way back from injury, but two, he's not particularly mobile, is he, in terms of pace. McLean and Les Malou, I think, have enough physicality between them. They've just got to be clever on the ball. Aaron's needs to be touch tight to Who's it going to be? Sadio Mane? I think he's the left winger, isn't he? Which is going to be a hell of a challenge. He struggled at the beginning of the season, which it's Sadio Mane. You can't give him sort of too much stick for that. Hanley, Gibson again. It's going to have to be clever decision making. I think the thing with Gibson and his long diagonal ball is it's fine when we've got Eder and Sargent on the pitch because they usually win their headers. So hopefully Sargent can provide that relief at the back. Same for Hanley. When he's playing the ball out. Williams, we're going to need that just sort of ruggedness from him. We're going to need that sort of dirty work done by Williams, which I trust to happen. And from Gunny, we know what we need from him. We need big saves and him to command his box. But that's it for the video. You know, I'm not going to talk about Liverpool. We know what they are. We know they're very good. We know they're going to most likely win the game. Maybe not the league this year, but that's the Premier League, isn't it? It's kind of boring. But we're here and we have to pretend that we want to be here because we love it. Best league in the world, all that good stuff. But yeah, that's it for the video. Next time you see us will be during the week for some sort of breakdown, discuss whatever's going on because there's always stuff going on, isn't there? Last thing I'll say, Adam Eder, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad that's happened because he was really starting to find his feet. There are a few sort of moments in games where he drift, but for a player that we've picked up and we know has a lot of potential, got his goal, started to play quite well, and this injury is just deeply unfortunate. But your thoughts, I'd love to know them in the comments on my 11, what your 11 would be, score predictions. I'm gonna say 1-1 because predicting Norwich to lose is just boring at this point, isn't it? If we get a 1-1, then I don't even know what I'd commit to doing. If anyone has any ideas, please. But if you don't want to, that's more than fair enough. A like on the video, as always, would be greatly appreciated. If you want to subscribe to, if I get my words out, if you want to subscribe to, that would also be appreciated. So until next time, we'll see you again very, very soon.